The recruitment plaza hummed with the usual morning chaos. Lieutenant Vex'thar of the Galactic Defense Coalition stood at his post, compound eyes scanning the endless stream of hopefuls who thought they had what it took to join the most elite fighting force in 7 sectors. Most didn't. Most wouldn't even make it past the preliminary scans. Next, he droned, mandibles clicking with boredom. A human shuffled forward. Oh, wonderful. Another one. Vex'thar had seen exactly 3 humans attempt entry in his 12 cycles of gate duty. 2 had fainted during the atmospheric adjustment test. The third had somehow gotten his head stuck in a waste disposal unit. Earthers. Soft, fragile, absurdly optimistic little creatures who seemed convinced that their recent discovery of faster-than-light travel meant they belonged among the warriors. This one was female, if Vex'thar remembered human biology correctly. Short by human standards, maybe. Dark hair pulled back in a simple knot. Plain gray jumpsuit. Nothing remarkable. Nothing threatening. She looked like she'd be more at home filing data cores than holding a plasma rifle. Name, Vex'thar said, not bothering to hide his disinterest. Kira Vance. Homeworld. Earth. A snort erupted from somewhere behind him. Cadet Jormak, a Krillian whose father commanded an entire battle fleet, stepped forward with that swagger only the genuinely untested could manage. His scales gleamed with fresh polish, probably applied this morning by some servant drone. An Earther. Jormak's voice carried across the plaza, drawing attention. Did you get lost on your way to the botanical gardens, little human? We're recruiting soldiers here, not gardeners. Laughter rippled through the cluster of waiting cadets. A Voth female named SHRL joined in, her 4 arms crossed in obvious amusement. Even Pack, usually the quiet one, allowed himself a grin. Kira Vance didn't react. She just stood there, waiting, her expression absolutely neutral. Vex'thar almost felt something like pity. Almost. Look, he said, softening his tone by approximately 0.3%. Perhaps you'd be better suited for the civilian corps. We have excellent positions in medical support, cultural liaison work, that sort of thing. This, he gestured at the fortified gate behind him. This is for combat personnel. I'm aware, Kira said simply. Are you though? Jormak circled her like a predator, though to be fair, he moved like a predator who'd only ever seen hunting on instructional videos. Because humans are what? 0.7 on the Thax durability scale? My species averages 4.2. SHRL's people hit 5.8. You're basically made of wet paper and optimism. Fascinating, Kira replied, her voice flat. Are you done, or should I wait for the full presentation? SHRL barked a laugh. Oh, this one has spine. Probably the only hard thing in her entire body, but still. Vex'thar sighed, reaching for the standard scanner. Protocol demanded he at least run the basic tests, even though this was obviously a waste of everyone's time. The device was a simple thing, really. Point it at the candidate, let it analyze their biological markers, combat potential, threat assessment, all the usual metrics. Step forward, he instructed. Kira moved to the designated spot. The scanner, an older V7 model that had been in service since before Vex'thar's hatching, hummed to life. Standard procedure. Yellow light for civilians. Green for potential recruits. Blue for exceptional candidates. Red for... Well, red never came up. Red was reserved for active threats, or criminals, the kind of beings you shot first and questioned never. The scanner swept over Kira Vance and exploded into crimson light. The alarm klaxon started screaming immediately, a sound Vex'thar had only heard during drills. Emergency protocols activated. Blast shields began descending over the gate. Every weapon system in a 50-meter radius swiveled toward the small human standing calmly in the scanning zone. What in the 17 hells? Vex'thar stumbled backward, nearly dropping the scanner. The display screen scrolled frantically through data, each line more impossible than the last. Threat level, maximum. Combat rating, error, recalibrating. Lethality index, unable to compute. And there, flashing in letters that seemed to burn into Vex'thar's retinas, Earthborn, do not engage. There must be a malfunction, Jormak said, but his voice had lost its cocky edge. The scanner's clearly broken. SHRL had gone very, very still, all 4 arms now hanging at her sides. Vex'thar, when was this unit last calibrated? 2 days ago. His voice came out as a croak. Passed all diagnostics with perfect marks. Commander Zal'thor burst through the security doors, her Valerian bulk making the reinforced frame look inadequate. She'd commanded ground forces in the Kresh Rebellion, had personally led the defense of Station Tarsus 7. Vex'thar had never seen her look uncertain about anything. She looked uncertain now. "Somebody want to explain," Zal'thor growled, "why my entire security grid just went into apocalypse mode?" Vex'thar wordlessly held up the scanner. The commander's eyes, all three of them, widened as she read the display. "That's not possible." "That's what I thought, Commander." Zal'thor approached Kira slowly, carefully, the way one might approach an unexploded antimatter device. "You, human, what's your designation?" "Kira Vance, ma'am. Here to enlist." "Your service record?" "Now, don't have one, ma'am. This would be my first assignment." The plaza had gone absolutely silent. Commander Zal'thor's central eye twitched. Just once, but Vex'thar had served under her long enough to know that single twitch meant someone's reality was about to get significantly more complicated. "Run it again," Zal'thor ordered. Vex'thar's claws fumbled with the scanner. He'd handled this device thousands of times, but suddenly it felt foreign in his grip. He pointed it at Kira Vance again, praying to every deity in the galactic pantheon that this was just some bizarre technical glitch. Crimson. Again. Brighter this time, if anything. The words flashing across the screen seemed even more insistent. "Earthborn. Extreme caution advised. Do not engage without full tactical support." "Okay," Jormak said, his scales losing some of their polished gleam as he backed away. "Okay, what kind of augmentation are you running, human? Military-grade cybernetics? Illegal genetic modification? Because there's no way, absolutely no possible way, that a baseline Earther registers like that." Kira tilted her head slightly. "I'm completely baseline. No modifications. No enhancements. Just regular human." "Regular," SHRL repeated, her voice climbing an octave. "Regular humans don't make coalition scanners have existential crises." Zal'thor held up one massive hand for silence. "Cadet Vance, I need you to answer very carefully. Have you ever received combat training? Does my brother teaching me to box count? Military training? No, ma'am. Weapons proficiency? I can use a kitchen knife pretty well." Vex'thar watched the commander's jaw clench. "Have you ever killed anyone?" "Of course not." Kira looked genuinely offended by the question. "What kind of question is that?" "The kind I ask," Zal'thor said slowly. "When someone's biometric scan suggests they could single-handedly depopulate a cruiser." The human had the audacity to laugh. Actually laugh. "Commander, I think your machine is broken. I'm a freight coordinator from Earth's shipping sector. I've spent the last 4 years moving cargo containers. The most dangerous thing I've done recently is reorganize a warehouse without proper anti-grav equipment. The V7 doesn't break." Pack spoke up from the back, his voice quiet but certain. "It's adaptive scanning technology. It reads potential, not just current capability. If it says do not engage, that means something." Kira's expression shifted slightly, the first real change Vex'thar had seen. "Curiosity, maybe. What exactly does it measure?" "Everything," Vex'thar heard himself say. "Bone density, muscle efficiency, neural processing speed, pain tolerance indicators, adrenal response patterns, aggression markers, survival instinct calibration. It builds a combat prediction model based on physiological data." "And mine says what exactly?" Zal'thor turned the scanner display toward her. "It says that if you were properly trained and motivated, you'd be the most dangerous thing in this sector. It says your species has a lethality ceiling we didn't know existed. It says engaging you in combat would require overwhelming force and would still probably result in unacceptable casualties." Silence crashed over the plaza like a physical force. "But that's absurd," Jormak protested weakly. "Humans are fragile. Everyone knows that. They break easily. Their world has low gravity, comfortable temperatures. They've barely been spacefaring for 50 cycles. Their world," Zal'thor said quietly, "has Earth normal gravity, which is actually higher than 70% of coalition homeworlds. Their comfortable temperatures include environmental extremes that would kill most of us. And they've been fighting each other for their entire recorded history." She pulled up a data pad, fingers moving rapidly. "I'm looking at Earth's biological database now. Persistence predators. Endurance hunters. They literally used to chase prey until it died of exhaustion. Their healing factor is remarkable. Their adrenal system can temporarily override pain, increase strength, sharpen focus. They're one of the only known species that can function effectively while severely injured. Vex'thar felt something cold settle in his stomach. The scanner predicted all of that from a basic scan. Not predicted, measured. Zal'thor looked at Kira with something approaching respect. The question is, why don't they know? Know what? Kira asked. What you are. The commander stepped closer. Tell me, Cadet Vance, why did you come here today? Kira shrugged, the gesture somehow carrying weight now that everyone understood what those shoulders could potentially do. Wanted to do something that mattered. Freight coordination pays well, but it's boring. Thought maybe I could help protect people instead of just moving their packages around. You have no idea, SHRL whispered, all four hands now gripping her weapon harness nervously. Do you? You really don't know. Know what? Kira's patience was clearly wearing thin. Zal'thor made a decision. Vex'thar could see it happen, the way her posture shifted from defensive to resolved. Cadet Vance, I'm accepting your application. Effective immediately. Jormak made a strangled sound. Commander, you can't be serious. Deadly serious. Zal'thor's eyes never left Kira. But understand this, human. You're not joining as a standard recruit. You're going into an experimental program. We're going to find out exactly what Earth's children can do when properly trained. And if the scanner's right, if even half of what it's suggesting is accurate, then the Coalition needs to know. Why? Kira asked simply. Because, Vex'thar heard himself say, understanding dawning like a supernova. If humans are this dangerous when they're peaceful freight coordinators who've never seen real combat, what happens when Earth decides to build an actual military? The question hung in the air like smoke. Kira Vance smiled then. Not a threatening smile. Not aggressive. Just pleased. Well then, she said, picking up her application pad from where she'd set it down. When do I start? Commander Zal'thor gestured toward the gate, which slowly began rising. Right now? And Cadet Vance, one more thing. Yes, Commander. Welcome to the Galactic Defense Coalition. Try not to break anything important. As Kira walked through the gate, Vex'thar noticed that every single being in the plaza unconsciously stepped back to give her room. The human who'd been mocked minutes ago now walked in a bubble of respectful, terrified space. Jormak approached the scanner, staring at its still glowing red display. We're going to regret this, aren't we? Vex'thar watched Kira Vance disappear into the training complex, her ordinary gray jumpsuit somehow seeming less ordinary now. Possibly. But I think anyone who tries to fight her is going to regret it more. The scanner finally powered down, its warning lights fading to black. Somewhere in the distance, alarms were still ringing. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.